sorry, I thought I was, yes, no? We're good to go, okay. City of Lincoln City, City Council, notice of special City Council, Monday, October 19th, 2015 at 3 p.m. We have a special City Council meeting, 3:15 p.m. The City Council of the City of Lincoln City will hold a special City Council meeting in council chambers, and I guess we're just going to jump right into call to order, please. And that was it. Roll call, I'm sorry.
Mayor Don Williams.
Here.
Can you hear me?
Barely.
I'm not hearing.
There you go.
Okay. Councilor Noriakis.
Here.
Councilor Ryan.
Here.
Councilor Sprague.
Here.
Walke.
Here.
And Ward.
Here. Thank you. If you join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. And we're going to jump straight in with the oath of office for Mr. Dick Anderson.
Or in public.
I, Dick Anderson,
Do upon my oath
do upon my oath
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and laws of the United States
and the state of Oregon,
and the state of Oregon,
and the laws thereof,
and the laws thereof,
and that I will faithfully and honorably demean myself
that I will faithfully and honorably demean myself
in the office of council member
in the office of council member
for the city of Lincoln City,
for the city of Lincoln City,
to which I have been appointed
to which I have been appointed
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Do we need to move these flags back, or are we?
Yes.
Okay.
Welcome to my right.
Welcome to this side.
Welcome back. Thank you. All right, then we're going to go ahead and jump right into our discussion on the Elks property. Yes, sir.
I move that we make an offer on the Elks property.
Okay, any particular amount? Okay.
The amount we,
I don't know that we can do that. Can we just make an offer without a motion without an amount?
I guess I would recommend this isn't like a silent auction type, like we've done that in the past when it was like a silent auction, but that's not the case here, so I would specify a dollar amount.
Yeah.
So you need a figure?
Well, within that, though, we can't really, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but we can't really specify the entire offer, all the contingencies here. We just give you a general guidance, and then you will fill it in and bring it back to us? And
Yes, I think a motion to direct the city manager to make it, direct the city, yeah, okay.
You're okay.
A motion to direct the city manager to make an offer of a certain dollar amount and to add appropriate contingencies would be what I would recommend.
Okay. Did you want to amend that?
I will amend my motion to that. I'm thinking that maybe it should be conditional upon the Elks people guaranteeing that the property is free of mitigation charges, costs. And so the figure that I think we should offer is $175,000.
I second it.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second to submit an offer of $175,000 with the condition of the property being free of hazardous waste or hazardous, like a clean hazardous mitigation
Not
report?
needing mitigation.
Okay. And then I think we talked about, oh, I'm sorry, discussion. So my discussion is, we were also talking about adding on, good grief, I'm losing it tonight. Help me out, Kip.
What?
What did I need? Right of first refusal. Thank you. I'm sorry. It just blanked on me. Would that be acceptable too?
That's fine with me.
Okay.
I guess I would ask that you give the city manager some discretion to come up with the terms, and I'm hearing adding also a request for right of first refusal.
Right. So,
I don't know if that would put too much burden on the offer or not. I'm open to suggestions.
it's fairly standard. You know, you're just going to throw it out there and say, hey, if you don't like it, just keep us in mind first. And they can say, no, you didn't step up, but we can always amend it. I think the only thing we ever have to worry about in offers is competing offers, and maybe I'm wrong in reading the situation, but I don't know that there's huge demand for that property right now.
I don't believe there is.
I don't know that we'd be risking anything to try to reserve that right, but if that's not what you want, that's fine.
Well, I think the city is the logical purchaser for that property. The cost of trying to refurbish that are practically negligible. It's not, I don't think it's fixable. The roof itself is replaced. It needs to be totally replaced, and the figure that I remember seeing on that was somewhere in the neighborhood of $100,000. It's got a boiler in there that came out of a World War II warship, and there are just a long, long list of things that would need to be, just to bring it up to standard now. And so the building itself, I think, needs to be raised. And I think that we need to make sure that we're not going to be in a position where we get stuck with unknown costs. So I think that's why I think we ought to make it conditional upon the fact that they present it to us in the sale as not needing mitigation.
Okay. So, any further discussion?
Councilman.
Mr. Mayor, I guess the question I would have is the motion to direct the city manager to come back to council with these appropriate conditions, or are you limiting yourself right now to what your offer is? Maybe the dollar amount might be fixed, but the other conditions?
Right, because that was my question. We have so many things that still have to be ironed out.
But, so that's, I'm wondering, what in the motion, what, free of mitigation is pretty wide open.
Well, I suppose there'd be two ways to look at that. One is we don't get stuck with any mitigation, or other is that we can limit the amount of mitigation that we're willing to assume.
And mitigation is defined as?
Asbestos removal if necessary. Also, and this is in the raising of the building. Also, the removal of the oil tank, and to make sure that property is not soiled by leaks from the tank. We don't think there were any, but I think that we need to protect ourselves.
So, Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
just a suggestion, why wouldn't you then make an offer for a dollar amount subject to Elks delivering the city a raised property, just the land, and with a clean bill of health from, they then have to take care of demolishing, hazardous waste disposal, and deliver, the city just the bare land.
That's fine with me.
And
I'll-
and obviously...
I'll amend the motion to state that, if you think that's the way to go. I just think we need to move this thing off the dime. We've been kind of stalling them. They've known that we were the logical buyer, and they've been waiting for us to make an offer, and we haven't done anything, so I just want to move it along.
So then the offer would be $175,000 for completely raised and clean site paved over.
And a clean bill of health. A clean health.
Clean bill of health.
Clean health.
Completely paved
Wait.
for $175,000.
I think the city needs to do the paving on it. I don't think we should have that be a condition.
Can it be transferred without it being paved? Could the
Yes.
property be transferred, if they were to raise the building, could they transfer it without it being paved over?
Let's see what happens.
You're looking at the conditions on the building. Yes, I think you could build those conditions into it. As a matter of fact, I would guess that there may be a little bit of give and take that would go back and forth on that. But certainly, they could sell it to us with land that has not been paved, and then, of course, we'd have to decide what to do with that. We could make it into a parking lot, which would require us to pave it, put a building on it, or whatever it may be.
And what time frame would that be? How long would we have to pave or build?
Richard, you know, is there No, there's not a time limit on the development process from our
I'm
standpoint.
confused, because I thought you'd said at some point that you can't leave a parking lot with gravel.
Well, you can't make it a parking lot. It's just a
Okay,
piece of
okay.
ground.
Just a piece of ground, it can
Yeah,
stay as
so
is.
the city
Okay,
can't
all right.
make it into a parking lot without gravel
Got
or
it.
without paving
Okay.
it.
All right, so then, this is back to you, Mr. Sprague. Are you amending your offer, or your motion then, to 175, have the Elks raise the building, provide it clean, free of mitigating circumstances?
Yes.
I'm okay with amending.
And that was your second, is good with that. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Discussion. Mr. Ward?
I don't think the building's worth anything. And the asking price is substantial. I just think we're too far apart. And I don't think there'll be a race to the finish of people trying to buy that building. I can't imagine what you'd use it for. I just think some time needs to go by, and people get more realistic about what the values are, and rather than trying to act like we're in a hurry and smooch something all together. As I said, I'm interested in it. I think it would be good for the city, but right now I just feel like it's paying too much and it's moving too fast.
And I'd have to agree, we don't have any kind of plans right now to say, okay, we've kicked around a couple ideas, but I don't see any groundswell that says, well, we need this space right now. But I could see the other side, that it's a nice piece of property that fits into that area. And then, as Mr. Sprague has mentioned before, that, you know, it could give us access to a sign that could lead to improved access to the community center. I can go either way. This is not a substantial amount of money for a piece of property. I doubt they'll accept it, but I'm...
Mr. Mayor, if I could, I would say one of the things that we would be cleaning up is a dilapidated, deteriorating building, and that has value of
I
doing
agree.
that. So-
I'm just talking in terms of the
Right.
price. I don't...
But it costs to do that.
Absolutely.
So I think we need to remember that that's part of the equation, and as Mr. Ward has indicated, there is a big variance between this offer and the assumed price, perhaps, by the seller.
Right.
But by deteriorating further isn't going to bring that any closer,
Right.
except irritate us more.
Yeah, and there's, there's always city action at some point if a building gets under too much disrepair. So
Mr. Mayor.
we have to weigh that. Yes, sir.
This motion is designed to fail as far as an offer is concerned. I can tell you from experience, this one will be rejected out of hand. So why not just say we're not interested in the property? Because it's a waste of our time if we're going to make that ludicrous of an offer, because it will be rejected by Grand Lodge, period. I can tell you right now.
Thank you. Mr.
Mr.
Anderson.
Mayor, the argument I would make is it starts the process. It's an offer, you start a process, and it clearly states that the condition of the building has very little value, and it's a hazardous waste site. So they're going to have to deal with that as a seller, whether we're the buyer or somebody else.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Just one other point. Sometime in the future, it's conceivable that the city will want to expand the community center. In the process of doing that, it'll eat up some of the parking spaces we now have, so we need additional space for future expansion. Should we not buy the building, we'll never be able to expand that community center. So I think that's another consideration.
All right. Anyone else?
Sure.
Sir?
Yeah, Roger, I'm all for getting the building. I mean, I think the city can use it. I hesitate to jump in, and I know you don't feel like it's jumped in because it's been on the table for 90 days, but I would just like to have it considered a little more and have some time to go by. So at least we're in the same ballpark. Right now, they value it very highly, and we don't value it so highly. And somehow you've got to come to a compromise. I just don't see that as happening right now. I feel like some time has to pass, and we do a little more research, and everybody gets a little more realistic about what it's worth. And there's not going to be a line of people at the door to buy the thing. And then maybe we can work out something that's equitable. That's it. I'm done.
I like to start the process, at least.
Any further discussion? Mr. Norikis, anything? No?
I don't feel the building is terribly valuable. It will provide an opportunity in the future to expand the community center. As far as the sign goes, it's a block and a half off of Highway 1. I don't know how effective that would be, but starting the process, I think, is valuable.
Okay. Well, then, if that's the end of discussion, have a roll call, please.
Norikis?
Yes.
Ryan?
No.
Sprague?
Yes.
Walke?
Yes.
Ward?
No.
Williams?
Yes.
And Anderson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Well, with that, then, this special meeting is adjourned. And now we are back in session for a work session. I don't have a script, but this is just time
Mayor?
for... Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, we have to have just a minute for the Charlie in there to change something
Okay.
before we can start the next one. Otherwise, it doesn't show up on
Okay, that's
replay. So just a few
Just,
minutes.
so folks will know, I'm sure you do, but because this is a work session, we normally will have an arrangement in the middle of the room, but it's a time just for the council to speak with the different members of staff, so there's not going to be any citizen input on this meeting. But thank you for coming.